Okay guys, David with the Herald Group here again with aceable.com's real estate education course. We're doing our first section, Introduction to Modern Real Estate Practice. At this point, we've completed all the chapters. All 9 chapters are done, and now we have a review. I've completed the review, great review. I hope all of them are this in-depth, lots of good terms, and a few things I wanted to go over. So I made some notes on what I feel like is highly likely to be on the test. There's a couple of terms. Let's start out with those. Indestructibility. By definition, land cannot be destroyed. You can flood it, you can burn it, but it's still your land. Fixity. Similar to indestructibility, land is fixed. You can't move it. Just because a land on one side of the street is highly valuable because of some sort of feature or mineral rights or something like that does not by definition mean a neighboring property is going to be as valuable. Situs. The term situs comes up a lot, and situs is the term they use for the value of a land from an economic standpoint. Is the site a good place? You know, you could have 10 acres in the middle of nowhere or 10 acres in downtown Dallas. That 10 acres in downtown Dallas is highly more valuable from an economic standpoint because it's more scarce. That's the next term, economic scarcity. How much of the product you're looking for is there? And if there's only 2 options, well, it's a seller's market. If there's 50 options, then it's probably a buyer's market. All right, they also talked about specialties. So we know that being a real estate agent does not mean you just sell one type of thing. You can basically sell any type of real estate. However, most real estate agents end up focusing on something, whether that's residential, commercial, industrial. Maybe you only do RV parks. Maybe you only do hospitals. So there's 2 main types or 2 main groups of real estate. There's commercial and residential. And as we learned, residential is single family homes, your residence, or dwellings up to 4 units. So you can just buy and sell duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, and that all falls under the term of residential real estate. Anything above 4 is now multifamily. Multifamily falls under commercial real estate. And commercial real estate has a couple of categories, but the primaries are any property that generates income and industrial properties. I don't know why they divide them up into those groups, but they keep talking about commercial and industrial, so it may come up on the test. Who doesn't need a license? Interestingly enough, and I learned this in this course, new home builders don't need a license. If you build 40 homes on a piece of land that you own, you can hire a sales agent. They can go out and sell those. You don't need a license. Attorneys and public officials carrying out their duties do not require having a real estate license. And if you're buying, selling, renting your own home, you're not required to be an agent. All right, so who defines the rules that we as agents have to follow? So we learned that the Texas Real Estate License Act, or TRELA, governs the activities of real estate brokers and sales agents and is one section of a larger law passed by the state legislature called the Texas Occupations Code. And then the Texas Real Estate Commission, or TREC, is responsible for enforcing TRELA, or the laws that are in the Texas Real Estate License Act. Who are we? So you think you're a realtor, right? Not so fast. You're an agent. If you pass your test, you're in good standing, pay your dues, you're a real estate agent. Only people who are members of NAR, or the National Association of Realtors, can use the term realtor. One of the things I talked about is the Sunset Act. So in the state of Texas, we have a Sunset Act, and I'd never heard of this, but it's a great process. It requires that all state agencies in the state of Texas must go under review every 12 years. And the reason they do this is to make sure that that governing body is still legitimate. We might have a horse and buggy committee and it's 2023 and somebody goes, hey guys, it's probably time to sunset the horse and buggy committee. The Texas Real Estate Association has been looked at many times, and of course every time they consider it to be relevant, so it's still here. We talked a lot about contracts in the review. A licensed realtor can only use TREC forms when you're doing a residential transaction. However, commercial real estate, if an attorney or the buyer or seller want to use a contract and both sides agree, that is allowed. How can you lose your license? So very important, needing to know what you cannot do. You cannot accept or receive an undisclosed commission. So you can receive a commission, but everybody needs to know it's happening. Solicit, sell, or offer for sale property by means of a lottery or deceptive practice. Act as a dual capacity as a broker and undisclosed principal in real estate transactions. So you can't be the broker for both sides unless everybody's aware. Usually the seller is the one that's going to be providing the commission. Not all the time. I've done a ton of commercial transactions where the seller says, I'm not paying any broker's fees, and I, as the buyer, had to make up those fees. You're allowed to, but it's not typical. You also, if you are a licensed real estate agent and you are representing yourself, you have to disclose that in the transaction. You cannot guarantee a buyer of future value. So you can't say, man, if you buy this piece of dirt, next year it's going to be worth double. Now you can say, this is a great location. Do your research. I really think there's a lot of future value here. But you cannot guarantee that they will have future value. Okay, I'm about to take my first quiz, or as they call it, level 1 assessment. So wish me luck and let's continue the journey.